money. And there's so many tropes that we're brought up with money. You know, money makes the world go round, and it dictates how people live their lives, of course. In our society, it's really difficult to live. Well, I couldn't live without money. I'm completely a product of a system that relies on the transaction of goods and sales through the use of money. And sorry, I'm just overtaking the bus. I say overtaking, he was letting me go from the other side of the road. Anyway, yeah, so what is it? Right. I mean, is it as simple as there's a certain amount in the world and we need to share it? No, of course not. It's a made up resource, is what it is. World Bank's the fractional reserve system is manipulated in a way to try and keep everyone, the working classes, productive. We used to have religion, of course, we still do, but it has far less control on the majority of people I know, at least. However, they do watch the news, they do watch, wait for the budget, and everything is about economics in a way. Recessions. I never really understood a recession. I'm like, what do you mean there's no money? Like, all the people still exist, all the buildings, the markets, people still desire these things and need these things. Why all of a sudden do we all have to pull up our bootstraps? Is it because perhaps people are getting a bit too comfortable and we need to tighten up the thumb screws a bit? The war in Ukraine has caused the cost of energy to go up. Well, actually, has it? Or will people just, they decided after lockdown we got to spend a lot more time, or a lot of people did, a lot more time with their families, and decided they don't want to work so many hours anymore. Life isn't all about trying to make money to buy, to quote Fight Club, making money to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't like. That's part of the capitalist system that most of us live in. If you ever see the documentary by Adam Curtis, the four parts, is it 4 parts? Or three parts? I think it's 4 parts, yeah. The Century of Self. The first and the last episode of that, for me, were more poignant. The whole thing is good, worth a watch. And it's kind of, as psychology, as the discipline of psychology has developed over the last 125 years. The documentary was made 25 years ago, so it's the last 100 years now. The Century of Self, hence. Using the ideas of Freud to, Edward Bernays, Freud's cousin, used psychoanalysis to link products to people's innermost desires, to relate them to, he convinced women to smoke by convincing them that they were torches of freedom, cigarettes were torches of freedom. So in the suffragettes movement, women felt empowered by smoking. So it, of course, working for the tobacco companies there, it doubled the sales of tobacco, cigarettes. And this then changed the way marketing was done. Marketing before Edward Bernays, really, and that era, I'm sure he wasn't the only one, was very much, here's this product, this is what it does, buy it. But it became, if you buy this product, it will show other people who you are, and it will give you what you want, something you desire, and they'll link it to, what we all want. We want comfort, we want to be attractive to the opposite sex, these human desires that we've evolved to have. And that's kind of, it's on point but off point. Talk about money as a real resource. Is it? No, it's manipulated. World banks, countries, they just inflate the numbers to keep people under pressure. Why do you think every job takes up almost all your time? Not every job, most working class jobs that 99% of people have to do to survive just pay you enough to keep your head above the water. And you think about products that are made with planned obsolescence, they're designed to last long enough. I mean, mobile phones is a key example where the updates will only last a certain amount of years, and then what do they cost? About £1,000 now if you want one of the newer models, the top models. It was, at best you're probably going to get 4 years out of it, if you're lucky. So planned obsolescence, all products are made. I mean, we want to look after the environment. You need to build products with longer guarantees, right? The phone had to last 20 years. They probably have more universal components between brands. Same with cars. I mean, I'm quoting Jacques Fresco now. If you've ever seen any of his work, he was cited in the Zeitgeist Addendum, the second Zeitgeist film, which is definitely worth a watch. The Venus Project, and I like a lot of his ideas, absolutely. I've driven completely the wrong way to my appointment now. Distracted myself talking, but I think we'll still get there in time, hopefully. Oh well. Again, it's about money. It's about trying to get some money. I'm well behind my utility bills. Unfortunately, it's stressful. I don't know how to exist without it. At the same time, I don't believe in it as a construct. It's a system designed, to have winners and losers. You have to, as a earthling, as a human, we're the only species that need to pay to exist. We've removed ourselves from the natural ecosystem, and now we have to kind of conform to the system, which is very easily manipulated, as in you need to work a minimum of 40 hours, so really the rest of your time is going to be taken up with feeding yourself, sleeping, not much family time, friend time really, no time to think and collaborate, maybe question things. That would be, thinking of George Carlin now, they want you smart enough to just run the machines, not to think for yourself. We need to be able to, it's not freedom, is it? You try and live without money, you try and live outside of what society tells you have to. It's difficult. It's very difficult. Some people can do it, self-sufficient. I wouldn't last a day. I haven't got a clue. I've been there. When I was travelling and I ran out of money, there's no benefit system. Foreign country for me, it was in Australia. I've had to basically look through bins for a bit of food to get through a few days until I could land a job to work for free accommodation that gave me one meal a day, and then kind of that was all I needed. It wasn't all I needed. It was, geared up to want a lot more. We all are. We have our internal desires manipulated from point of existence. Before that, maybe. I've brought up on cartoons that were designed to sell me toys, and food that was designed to make me want more of it, more than I needed. And then have to exist within a system that it's really hard to make ends meet on this financial system. It's very easy for them to fudge the numbers and get you believing in recessions, credit crunches. It's just numbers in an account. It's just made up. It used to represent gold. Banks were created to look after your gold, and then they started lending out more money than gold they had, and then the system was born. They could just make up the numbers. Right, I'm nearly at my appointment now, so I'm going to have to cut it off there. But yeah, more to say about money. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wish I was a millionaire. Anything to get out of the system. Well, if I was a millionaire, I'd fight to keep it. I'm sure. I don't know. Well, it's not easy when you're starting. If you're born into the Monopoly board, I'm just going to go now, but I've got my Monopoly board analogy. You're born into the Monopoly board, but all of the property's already been sold. And you're struggling to even get your £200 pass go, and that won't get you around the board. It ain't easy. It's at the end of the game, and this is quoting the third Zeitgeist film, all the money just goes back into the box and you start again. It's just a game. Anyway, bye.